Welcome to the Gone Boss Vodcast.
At home version.
I'm your host, Matt Howell.
And I'm your host, Angie Rogers Howell. We are still at home and checking in with awesome women in our community.
This week, we're brought to you by our premier sponsor, Schaefer Leadership Academy. Learn more at schaeferleadership.com.
We're also brought to you by A-Team Concessions. Find out more about them by checking them out on Facebook.
If you have a comment about the show or something you want to share with us, just call or text 765-233-2640. Who do we have on the show this week?
Today we have everyone's favorite retired volunteer, Carolyn Buffy Grieves. Yes, we love her. Jessica Cantwell of Yorktown Elementary. She's a kindergarten teacher. And Kallie Sulanke from the Community Foundation.
We're supported today by our premier sponsor, Schaefer Leadership Academy. Learn more at schaeferleadership.com. What do they have coming up?
Coming up on May 27th and 28th. So this one's a little bit different.
Two
days in a row from 2 o'clock to 3:30. It's presented by E. Jake Campbell of Leadership Support Services. You're going to learn how to motivate different types of people and employees and ignite workplace enthusiasm, motivation, and engagement.
And it's 2 back-to-back Zoom meetings?
Like 2 different days. Yes.
2 different days.
2 different days.
2
27th and the 28th. 2 webinars. You're going to learn lots of information because you had to have 2 whole days to do it. So it's going to be great. You're going to create a person-centered relationship with your employees that will create a positive workplace environment where employees demonstrate emotional traits like empathy, enthusiasm, motivation, and resilience.
You'll learn the difference between communication and connection.
And learn about the 3 different types of organizational employees.
Find out more at schaeferleadership.com.
And that's pretty much how we're all learning is from everybody else,
Yeah.
right?
Well, tell us about being an educator at home. You teach kindergarten, is that correct?
Yes. So kindergarten online.
Yeah, kindergarten's like herding cats anyway.
I feel like I owe my parents teacher appreciation gift because really the parents have had to become teachers. But as teachers, we tried to replicate ourselves as well as possible. We're very fortunate that happened in the middle of the year where kids were already trained on lots of routines and things. So luckily they knew how to use the iPads to access their learning. And we did a really good job, I think, as a team of making sure that they were learning new material and also being able to practice it on their own. And so that was fun. We did things like write letters to each other for our writing assignments and thank you cards to medical professionals. So we tried hard to make it real life things, but also helping them grow outside of the classroom. Teaching from home's hard. Internet issues, we've talked about that a lot. Kindergartners online are a whole other thing. And making sure that all my students had access to all of the stuff, that's kind of a challenge too. But our district did a good job getting them hotspots and things. So
I have a question. Did you spend more time in this quarantine situation doing stuff than you would in regular teaching?
Yeah, yes. Here's why. We replicated our teaching. So in a real teaching day, so my voice, you can hear my voice is kind of gone. In a real teaching day, especially in the spring, we put a lot of work back on the kids, right? We've taught them a lot of things. And in that last quarter, especially in kindergarten, we've created these independent humans, right? So now it's your turn to do the work, right? And we still instruct and model and all of that, but we put a lot of the work back on them through guided practice and things. And it's their time to teach each other and learn independence so that when they get ready to be in first grade, which is a totally different experience, they're ready. And so they didn't get that. Instead, they have me recording myself everything. I made 130 videos of myself. I was looking at my
gosh.
During this time. Yes. Now, I do not have small children, so those teachers have a different challenge like you guys are talking about. So I don't have that, but I do have dogs that bark all day at every person. Everything. And that's real. So there's lots of dogs barking. Finally, I just had my dogs. I got an app that makes your dog talk. And I just had them start teaching some things. And joining in on my stories. Yeah, as a teacher, you have to get over that really quick. So we've had digital learning days for a while for our snow days. Holly Spackler was our technology integration specialist, and she pioneered that in the state, like really. She did. Now she works for the superintendent, who was our superintendent. We did a really, really good job. They were very good quality teaching modules, but they were perfect. Like, we were perfectionists. Now it's like one take. Who cares what's happening? The parents aren't watching us anymore either. Like, they're like handing the kids the iPad and they're done, right? So we had to get rid of all that. And now I guess we're probably a lot more comfortable with that type of instruction. So that's good. But
that's good. I know. I listen to Audia. They do a Zoom call with her kindergarten class once a week, and it's like show and tell. And she doesn't want me in there because she is big. Thank you very much. She can do it on her own. So I set her up in the living room, and I go to the kitchen, and I'm like, I can't listen to these kids. It's insane.
So we unmute, we do mute all and unmute, and like, you're real busy as a teacher, like unmuting and muting, and yeah.
Now, Buffy, you're an extrovert.
Yes.
You're retired.
Yes.
So how are things going?
I'm waiting for everything to be open, but I'm afraid for it to be open. So, suddenly the calendar was cleared, blank, nothing. Nobody loves you. Don't want to go. So I've been learning different things. So I learned Zoom. So I have some meetings with my friends, 2 of them a week, 2 different groups. And then my pool buddies, we have book club. So that's something where I get some education. Trying to learn something new every day. I'm still doing the social media for the Yorktown Chamber. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. Walking, oh Lord knows I hate to walk. I want my pool to be back open so I can watch movies. Try to become the modern convenient woman to order groceries online. I order other things. Groceries online challenge. Fail.
I've done it, but I keep buying the wrong stuff and my folks. So I'm not doing that anymore.
I'm not doing it either. After 2 times, after like a month, I'm like, I am done with this. I'm taking my chances, putting my mask on, putting my stuff on, and out we go. So that's pretty much it. It's kind of interesting. I really, truly appreciate all the niceness of everybody because I've had gifts show up on my porch. I also have tried to return that favor. You have friends that they're isolated, they don't have anybody. So I try to call them or send them a card or just drop off some cupcakes or something, an elderly lady not too far from me loves caramel corn, and I know that. I know she has family, but they're probably not bringing her caramel corn. So we drove through the Muncie Makers Market. I never get that name right. And got some caramel corn. And
For Jennifer.
Yes, for Jennifer.
She's the sponsor of the show.
I know. It is wonderful corn. And let me tell you,
Buffy, you were in line, not this past week, but the weekend before. Apparently, you were in line at the Makers Market right in front of me.
Really?
I was talking to
I could have
Moth.
waved.
I tried, but you were gone. I was talking to Moth, and they were, or Jennifer, and she's like, Buffy's right in front of you. And I was like, hello. But you were already gone.
So we're doing the drive-through, and we're trying to support the small businesses. Like Beer Maze and Mr. Mouse, anybody that we can support that way, we've been doing. So
We've been supporting Pete's up in Albany.
That's true.
I want to go to Pete's. You know what I'm so hungry for up there. But that's another story. We will make it.
All right. Kallie, how are things going working from home?
It's been interesting. So I have a 3-year-old little boy and a 7-year-old little girl, first grader. And so we are dealing with e-learning and just entertainment of a 3-year-old is a challenge, and keeping an eye on a 3-year-old is a challenge. It's a challenge on a day when I'm not trying to work too, and then trying to work on top of that has been really interesting. I've caught him in some pretty dangerous predicaments a few times, climbing the shelves and things like that, and so it's been really interesting.
We just interviewed a former Munsonian, Kristen Bitzigai, works at Community Foundation on the East Coast. How are things for you, busy-wise, at the Community Foundation?
It's very busy. So we are dealing with our standard work that happens all the time. Our regular grant making continues. It's scholarship season, so we're looking to award scholarships to the graduating seniors and trying to figure out how to make that a little extra special. We typically present awards at award days, but those aren't happening now. And so we're doing all of those things. And then on top of that, we have an emergency grant program. And so we're doing grants out to the community. And a lot of that has been talking to the various nonprofits in the community, just listening and trying to absorb all of that and figure out how to respond appropriately. We've adapted pretty well at the foundation. We really didn't have any work at home practice before all of this, and so we were thrown to the wolves on the first day, but we have made really good use of Microsoft Teams. We've all learned how to Zoom pretty well, and we aren't afraid to pick up the phone and talk to our donors and our nonprofits and that kind of thing too, so that's helpful.
So my question is, have you been out yet anywhere? Things are opening up. Just wondering if you've been to the hair salon or a restaurant or anything like
I
that.
have gray hair, so no, but you can call and schedule me for next week. I have been out to walk, and I early on took packages to the school or the back to school teacher store.
Okay.
Donated a great deal. We couldn't get into our building. It was like a school policy. And so even though we needed things like paper and glue and for kindergartners, they donated a lot of stuff to us early on. So for all of our kindergartners, we packaged those up and delivered them so they would have some things for our writing unit, because we can't assume that they all have the materials at home to write. So that was early on, but it was at a time when we were a lot more afraid, I think, of everything, like in the beginning, before spring break, all of that, right? Like March 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sky was like definitely falling.
Yes. Like, and so I had masks and gloves and like didn't touch any of the things I got. And Stacy Wheeler met me, and we, like, everything was very, very sanitary, and we delivered all of those. And then, so I don't love going to the grocery store anyway, so I just let Brad Cantwell be my shipped shopper and do that. Like I could not get it right anytime that, they substitute, and it's never, and you get a whole bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
You're like, that's not what I wanted.
None of it. And
When am I gonna get that?
yeah.
If
you
you
can
mustard.
even get the
I want
slot.
that.
You're like, it's like Justin Bieber tickets. I'm like refreshing at midnight for a spot, right? And then, so Brad went and did that. So not really, but just this week, as things are opening up, I did spend some time with my best friend, and my teammates and I have done like twice where we got Starbucks on our own and sat in the back of our cars really far apart.
Angie just got her hair done.
I got my hair done today.
Oh, girl. I'm like blocked right here, and I have light behind me.
It was so long. It was white earlier today.
Oh, girl, it looks so good. Yeah, you feel like a new person.
Now, I did go to the hair salon on Tuesday. That's my first maiden voyage to actually be around a lot of people other than the grocery store. And things went well, and I'm abiding by all rules and regulations, and I'm thankful that they're open. I'm thankful that they can make some money again, but I'm really upset with people that I see like in the grocery store who are not wearing masks, who are not distancing themselves from other people. So, I'll probably end up in jail by saying something, I'm quiet about my opinion. But that's it. I gave blood throughout the process here. I figured they really needed it. My husband can't, so I gave blood. Other than that, that's it. I have some friends that we meet one day a week near the parking lot at, got to get this grocery store right, Payless by Taco Bell, in our lawn chairs. In our lawn chairs, and we have a little meeting, for about an hour, and we distance ourselves and catch up and move on. Because sometimes Zoom just won't get it.
How about you, Kallie? You been out and about anywhere?
Not too much. We're getting out and walking around the neighborhood. We're not afraid to visit nature areas. So we've been to a lot of the red tail properties. We've been out to the reservoir, Summit Lake, mounds, that kind of thing. But we tend to stay in our own little clusters. My husband works for what's now a Northwest Bank. And so he is already out. He has to be out every day. And so he's become our designated grocery shopper, kind of like Jessica. I don't really enjoy that job anyway. And this added level of stress is not something I want to take on. And so I prepare the list, and he goes out and does that. We have seen my parents and my sister and her kids last weekend when things were kind of open again, we decided that our group of 11 would be appropriate for a family dinner. And so we got together and got to do that. That was so nice to get to see them. I have a nephew who is a senior this year, and so it has not been the senior year that he had expected or hoped for.
I know our in-laws live next door to us, and we usually do Tuesday night dinners with them. My mother-in-law cooks, and it's like a feast. She always makes like roast and potatoes and everything. It's like a farm meal. But we haven't had those in like 8 weeks, and I'm kind of missing it.
And Jessica, you're
Even
done.
too.
Is that
Yes,
true?
yesterday was our last day. Saying goodbye to your kindergartners on a Zoom call is not for the faint of heart.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. But I don't want to talk about that here because I'll start crying. It was not. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
So Zeus keeps telling us she's a first grader. I'm like, well, not quite. Almost. But not quite.
Yeah, I sent them postcards to tell them that because sometimes they don't want to be first graders yet. So
Yeah.
you're a first grader now. You're going.
You're done.
What will be the one thing you remember about quarantine?
So my daughter, Cassidy, we haven't lived here forever. We moved to Muncie in 2010 from California. And then she finished high school here and went to college here for 2 years. So she has her associates. And then college wasn't her favorite thing. She moved to LA and lived in LA on her own and worked for Disney's theater there, and they have a movie theater, the El Capitan, and she worked on television shows and stuff. But after 2 years, she realized that was a tough life, lots of jobs, and it's expensive to live there. And so she's been back during this time, and she's enlisted in the Air Force.
Oh.
And she leaves in 2 weeks. They're still going, and she's got a really good job lined up for herself there. She tested very high on their ASVAB tests, and so we're really excited for her, and we think it's a really great path. You know, when they're in that age, that's a hard age. They choose all of these different paths, and they're not, college isn't everybody. And so she went and she didn't ask for a dime for 2 years and lived on her own in LA, and but different life experiences. So they've let her here. My husband was in the Navy, so he has some say in how all that works. And, so I was not a good Navy wife. That did not last very long. He got right out. But it was, so that's been really wonderful, is to have that time. Chase is in Muncie, our other son, but he lives with his roommates from college, and he doesn't want to come home very much. So I've had a lot of time with her, just us. And I wouldn't have been able to spend that time with her before she leaves for years. I mean, it could, without their leaves, it could be years. And just the way the world is, we have no idea what to expect with all of that. So.
Buffy, how about you? What will you remember?
I think I'll remember that you can't just get up and go. You have to plan when you're going. You have to plan like, oh, I need some milk. Well, no, I just can't run in and pick it up. There's a little process to this. So that, and missing going out for breakfast. I'm tired of making breakfast.
Now, where do you eat breakfast at?
Well, we usually ate at, what's that place called? I forget the new name, but it used to be Bruder's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because all I have is eggs and toast. That's it, But I just don't like to make it. I'm not a morning person.
I'm not either. I make Matt make our breakfast. If it's not cereal, it's not getting made in the morning.
Well, that's the way it is, yeah.
Zeus wanted eggs the other day, and she's like, I'll ask Dad. I know you're not the breakfast person.
That's right.
I think just the benefits of being home. So while I'm ready to be gone and doing things, having the weekends at home and not having anything we have to go do, we are able to spend more time as a family. We're able to get some things done and accomplished. I'm really missing being out in the work world and all of that, but we tended to overschedule our evenings and weekends, and we have no schedule anymore. And so we can, plant a garden or take a walk or do those kinds of things. And that's been really nice to not just feel like we're on the go all the time.
We loaded up our car yesterday and went to Maid-Rights in Greenville, Ohio. And our children, it was the first time I think all four of us had been in the car together in like 2 months. And they were like, wait, we're going in the car? What are we doing? Do we need masks? What's happening? What are we doing? And both of them were like very concerned. I'm like, we're cool. It's all right. We're just going to drive through. We're going to eat in our car. I think we're okay. But they were all like, I'm not so sure about
It's like taking a flight now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thanks. See ya.
We're also brought to you today by A-Team Concessions. Just get with Jennifer Cooper Wilson, and she'll hook you up with cardinal corn.
Cardinal corn. Yes, it's delicious. It's caramel corn made by A-Team Concessions. Yum, 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 yum. Our kids love it. It's all great. It's wonderful.
Where can you get such a thing?
Well, you can get it from Jennifer and A-Team Concessions at Muncie Makers Market.
Ooh, when's that?
That is 4 to 7 on Saturdays at the Muncie Makers Market, which takes place in the parking lot of Books and Brews.
In the parking lot there.
Yeah, in the parking lot of Books and Brews. And right now they've got a drive-through, so you can just show up, drive through, pick up your cardinal corn. You don't even have to get out of the car. They'll put it in your car.
And if you love it so much, you need it in bulk. Bulk discounts are available.
You can get that. Yeah, you can get some for your favorite frontline workers, and Jennifer will deliver it for you if you want.
Nice.
Yeah. And guess what?
What?
You can get it with your beer.
My beer, or Guardian Brewery
Guardian
beer.
Brewery's beer, which is delicious, I'll say. Frank the Tank. Delicious. They have partnered
Together,
and they will deliver your home delivery of beer and cardinal corn at the same time.
to go along with it.
Can't get better than that, really.
Find out more by contacting Jennifer Cooper Wilson. Just call or text 765-702-7188.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun. So we just wrapped up a week where Indiana started to open businesses.
Reopening.
Reopening.
I got my hair done.
You got your hair done?
But we are getting back to our new normal. So that means people are opening back up, going back to their offices, getting the word out that, hey, we're up and running and around and all of that. So we wanted to kind of take a minute to kind of talk about what you need to think about when you're doing all that.
We want you to look at your marketing.
Yes, marketing is important. Whether or not we're in a pandemic or not, it's important to tell people who you are, what you're doing, what makes you different from everybody else. But really take a look at everything you're doing to make sure that everything is feeding into everything else. So your website, your email, your Google, your reviews, all that stuff.
Flyers that you're sending out via email.
So take a look at everything that you're doing, everything that you want to do, or things you've done in the past and you're like, oh, that worked great, or oh, that one was terrible, or whatever. So take a look at all those kinds of things. Make sure it's all integrated, it's all pointing in the right direction, you're telling the same message everywhere.
You know, one thing I've been thinking about is like to have a checklist of, do I have everything I really need to be at the bare minimum of what I need to be successful? Number one, is your website mobile responsive and ready to go? Is it ready for transactions? And that transaction could be just filling out a contact form. But check your website, make sure it's up to date, and make sure it's ready to go. If not, contact us. We'll help you out. Number two is email list. Do you have an email list? If you don't, now's the time
Let's
to
start working on it.
And we have ways to obtain those emails for you. So again, contact Farmhouse Creative today. We'll help you with that. The other thing is a Google place. So your place on Google. If you have a brick and mortar store or retail outlet, or you just have a physical address, you've got to be on Google in Google Places. So Google Places / Google My Business / whatever they're calling it nowadays. But
you need to be there.
You need to have your icon on the map.
You need to be a dot on the map.
And we can help with that as well. The big thing that I've been harping on for the past 3 years is reviews, or recommendations, or recommending on Yelp and Facebook reviews and different things like that. Very important.
Right.
You've got to do that, so just make it happen. If
Right.
you don't have a lot, it's time to start getting
You
some.
got to ask people for it. Because guess what? Unless
Nobody's going
to give it to you.
Unless it's negative.
If it's bad, they will definitely give it to you. But if it's good, people don't go out of their way to write good reviews. So if you know you've got good clients, and like say, hey, dude, could you write me a review? They can say no. That's fine. But ask them for it, because they won't do it if you don't
ask, more than likely they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to your email list. Do you know who you're talking to, who your customer is? Did you gather their email address along the way at some point? Now's the time to contact them and say, How did we do? Did we do the good job for you? Please.
If we did, please fill this out and lead them where you want them to give the review.
And then finally, having an active social presence. Now, that doesn't mean you're in everything,
Right.
LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It means whatever platform you are on and are comfortable in,
And your customers are also there.
that you are active and that you are showing up and that you are talking to an audience, you're engaging them
Right.
into action.
And not just, hey, look at me, I have this sale going on, or hey, look at me, I can do this for you. But really interacting and giving good content.
Being part of the online community.
Yes, being a good virtual neighbor. And while you're looking at all that other stuff, also look at your printed materials, your promotional stuff that you're doing. So
Definitely.
Does your brochure match what you're actually doing today? Maybe you did it 5 years ago and you've kind of changed the focus of the things you do or don't do and all that kind of thing. Does your brochure give that information? Does your business cards have the right phone number on it? Sometimes they don't. So you don't want that. Just take some stock in the things that you're handing out, even though we may not be like, here, take this thing, or
It may not be
doing
a
trade
handoff,
shows. It may not be a handoff anymore.
but it could be a pickup.
Yeah. And one day we are going to open back up and start handing things out and everything. So you want to be sure that you've got your stuff ready to go when it is. So if you need help with any of that, Farmhouse Creative can help you out. Just saying.
Thanks for joining us today on this episode of Gone Boss.
At home version, be sure to check us out at goneboss.com or #GoneBoss.
We're also on Instagram at GoneBoss2K, or you can find us on Facebook just by searching Gone Boss.
If you have a comment about the show or something you want to share with us, call or text 765-233-2640. We might just use it on the show.
Also, join the conversation in our Facebook group. Just search Gone Boss and hang out with us.
If you like what you hear today, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you find your podcasts.
Today's episode was brought to you by our premier sponsor, Schaefer Leadership Academy. Find out more at schaeferleadership.com.
We're also brought to you by 18 Concessions. Find out more about them by searching for them on Facebook.
Have a great rest of your day, and don't forget to tune in next week and find out who has gone boss.